Now, the thing is, whenever we talk about Selenium, what all things we have to learn, right? We are not limited to Selenium only. In this particular course, we will not be limited to Selenium. What we have to learn is we have to learn how we can build up a framework. See, learning Selenium is okay, but building framework is very important. It involves a lot of things, right? Say, a framework should have a few things that we can list here right now. Say it should optionally run test cases. It should be available on Git. It should be running on Jenkins. We should be able to send out emails to our colleagues or client, right? We should be able to have reports, and say we should be able to say choose the test cases that we want to run. That is already covered here, optionally run test cases, right? And say we should be able to read data from somewhere. Now, from where? Say we should be able to read data from Excel files, or say CSV files, or say YAML files, right? So there are a lot of things that we need to have. Now, we can read data from anywhere. The thing is that Selenium itself doesn't provide you to have these functionalities, right? Selenium by default does not provide how we can optionally run test cases. It doesn't provide allowing us sending out emails. It does not allow us generating reports, right? It does not enable us to say read Excel files, right? So Selenium is not the only thing that we are going to learn here. There are a lot of things that we would be learning. And say Selenium by default is just interacts with the browsers. So to do all these things, to specifically optionally run test cases, we need a controller, a centralized controller that should be able to do the things that we want, right? Now, what is that controller? We call that testng. Now, testng would be enabling us to optionally run the test cases, reading data from the say files and then passing that data to the test cases, right? And a lot of other things that it will be helping us, right? Apart from that, we will also be using Maven, right? So there are a lot of things mentioned over here on the screen. Now, how to start? So let us just first start with the basics, very basics, a bit introduction about Selenium. So if you go to the official website of Selenium, that is selenium.dev. Now, if you go to the main page, you would notice something written here. Selenium automates browsers. That's it, right? This is only thing that it does. It allows us to interact with the web pages. It allows us to do things with the web pages, things with the browser, nothing else. So we need to build things accordingly so that we would be able to do a lot of other things as well, right? Now here, if you notice something, if you move to this Selenium WebDriver download page, you would see that there are a lot of other languages supported as well. Selenium is supported with Ruby. Selenium is supported with Java, Python, C Sharp, say JavaScript. So these are the languages that it supports. Now, how does it do? It simply needs drivers, right? It interacts with the browsers in a way that all the languages are supported here, right? All these languages, say Selenium is available in all these languages. Now, to say see things, what all things you can do with Selenium, you can simply go to API docs. There you would be able to see that what all things are here, right? It can say it is the Bible of Selenium, right? It has everything here. Whatever you need, you name it, and it is already having there it here, right? Now the thing is, we are learning Selenium with Java, right? So what all things we require? So we need Java to be in our systems, right? So we would be installing Java. Now to write code, Java code can be written in Notepad as well, but that is not suggested. right? What we would be doing is we would be using Eclipse. It is free to use and it is good as well. Many of the companies use this, and this is the IDE that we would be using. Now, before installing this IDE, we need to have Java. Now, many people have confusion about Java. What confusion? Which version to use, right? If you start looking up for Java versions, you'll literally get confused. So if we look up for Java here in the internet, right? Say Java download or say JDK download. This is the official link from Oracle, right? Oracle owns Java. And if you see something, there is Java SE 14. Then there is Java SE 11. There is also Java SE 82261. What all these things are here then, right? There is Java SE 7 as well. Now this creates a lot of fuzz, right? Which version I have to use. Now don't get confused in this. Whenever you have to work with Selenium, Selenium is compatible with JDK 8. Now you may be asking 14 is already here. Why we are using 6 version old, right? Why we are using JDK 8 only? See, this is not the case with JDK, right? JDK is something that is still in development phases. Every 6 months, they come up with a new version. So let us just look up for JDK roadmap. Now, this is the page that will be telling you about all the things about Selenium, sorry, Oracle Java, right? So here, if we notice something, if we scroll down, these are the versions of Java 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This month, they will be coming up with JDK 15 anytime soon, right? And then that would be, say, going out of market in, say, March 2021, when they would be coming up with a newer version. So every year, they come up with new versions. This means that we cannot rely on these versions, right? So what all versions we can rely on? Either we can rely on JDK 8 or JDK 11. Now the thing is, JDK 11, it is still in development phase and it is still being developed right now. Apart from this JDK 14 and 15, it is still being developed. And JDK 8 is one of the most stable versions ever came. If you notice something, it came 6 years back, and till when it is supported till December 2030. 11 is supported till 2026, right? So this is supported 10 more years, right? So why would I go for something which is unstable? See, here the motive is to work on things that are stable, right? Which do not cause us any kind of troubles, right? So what we would be doing is we would be using JDK 8 only, exclusively JDK 8. We will not be downloading any other versions. And in case if you have other versions of JDK installed and you're not bound to use those versions only, right? Then you can use JDK 8. This is one of the stable versions. And it is not the thing that it is not still, it is not being developed as well. So if we go to the download page, this is the download page 80261, right? Let us just go for this JDK download. This was the first page that I opened earlier, JDK download, and this was the link, right? If you click on JDK download, you can see if you scroll down the version which came up. So here, they have not mentioned now. So this version came up last month, right? So you can download it from here. Now, which file you have to download? There are a lot of files. So it depends on the operating system you're using. If you're using Linux, then you need to download one of these packages, right? It depends. If you're using ARM-based Linux machine, then you have to download this one. If you're using a normal 64-bit machine, then you need to download one of these. And if you're using Macintosh, there is only one file. If you're using Windows, make sure what version of Windows you're using. Is it 32-bit or is it 64-bit? From where you'll get to know. Open My Computer. Right click on this PC or My Computer and go to Properties. On this particular page, you will get to see something 64-bit operating system If it is not mentioned anywhere, this means that this is 32-bit. If this system type is not mentioned, I'm talking about Windows Vista and above. So here you can simply go with this. So now as I've seen here, I'm using 64-bit. So let us just download the 64-bit version file. You click on this particular link, you check this option, click on this download JDK. It will be taking you to a page where you have to log in. Don't worry, they don't ask for credit card details. You can simply create your free account here and you can download the file. I have already installed JDK. So here JDK is installed. What's next? The next thing is Eclipse. Eclipse is the place where we would be writing our code. So eclipse.org, that is the official website of Eclipse. And here, go to download. Then click on this download 64-bit. And it will be downloading a file here after you click on this download button. So there are 3 buttons that you have to click to finally get a file which can be executed, right? Once downloaded, the file is already downloaded here. So let us just see the download files, right? Eclipse Installer. Run this, make sure that you're running it with administrator privileges. Right click here and run as administrator, right? Now the installer will take a little bit time to open up. And here choose the option Eclipse IDE for Java developers. Then what all things you need to choose here, right? Now here you need to specify the folder. I'm using this particular folder, right? That is inside my C drive program files, and then the folder name is Eclipse, then Java 2020-06. Now, once this is done, make sure that which JVM is selected over here. You would be getting to see a few JVMs listed here. I'm using OpenJDK. Oracle JDK is different. OpenJDK is different. The suppliers are different. Only thing is different, right? Nothing else is different inside, right? It is just that OpenJDK is provided by Open Community and Oracle JDK is provided by Oracle. Nothing else, right? You make sure that you're choosing JDK folder only, not the JRE path, right? Next thing, in case if Eclipse doesn't open up, this can happen. No need to worry. In that case, what you have to do, if you don't get to see this page, and what you have to do in that case, then no need to worry. Simply go to the download location where you have installed JDK. So this possibly comes inside this program files Java. It is inside a Red Hat folder in my case, right? Then you'll get to see the folder name like this, Java 1.8.0 or something version like this. Then you will be inside this particular folder. Now what you have to do, get inside this bin folder, copy this particular path and open start menu. Now start typing, say environment variables, right? Edit the system environment variables. And here, go to environment variables, then look up for path variable, right? Double click here. In case if you're using Windows 8.1 or Windows 10, you will be getting to see this particular kind of a window. No need to worry if you get to see something this kind of a window. No need to worry. What you have to do is that in case if you're on this kind of a window, click anywhere, hit on end key on your keyboard, go to the last point and provide a semicolon and paste that path. The path is already pasted here, so I won't be saving this particular file, right? Now click on OK and you're done. It will show up something like this here. This is added, right? Now, next thing, what's next? So after doing this, click on new and create a variable name Java underscore home. Make sure that it is in capitals. Do not provide a normal casing here. Do not use small cases here, right? It should always in uppercase completely. and then the variable data. Variable values should contain the folder, but not the bin. So remove forward backslash bin, right? This is done. Click on OK and you're good to go. This variable has been created somewhere over here, Java home, right? You can see that there is no bin folder. Done. Click on OK. Now, one thing, if we are using company machines, right, you will not get to see this particular option. Then what to do? No need to worry. In that case, you have the path variable here as well. Add the data here, create a new variable here. You will be able to work with this. So no need to worry that you have to contact IT guys and they will be doing stuff for you. No need to worry about that. You can simply add up the variables here in the upper section in case if you are not able to work with the lower section, right? Now click on OK and you're done. Now you can restart the Eclipse installer in case it didn't start earlier. Now how to cross check whether you're able to work with Java, right? Java is installed, but how to cross check? Open command prompt. The shortcut to open command prompt in Windows is this. Hit Windows X key and then type A. Just hit A key and you're done. Write a command here, Java hyphen version. If you get to see a command, say output like Java not found, this means that JDK is installed, but it has not been configured properly, right? And if you get to see this output, this means that you are able to work with it properly. Now close it. Now, the thing is, what if you are not able to see this thing? Oracle JDK version, Oracle JDK runtime environment, Oracle JDK, say 64-bit server VM. You're not able to see these things. What you have to do? Don't worry. What you have to do is that simply restart your machine once. Restarting solves the issues. So here this is done. Now, what's next? So the next thing is Oracle is, say JDK is installed, Eclipse is installed to start working with these things. Now, how would we be able to work with them, right? So working with them is easy. And here, what we will be doing is we will be opening Eclipse. The shortcut would come up on your screen. Open it. And what is happening here now? Just a second, it is already installed. It was working on my system Eclipse. So properties. Just a second. Let's just go with this directly. You can run this file as well. My shortcut is not working. So here, this is opened. Now what you have to do, it is asking you for a directory and it is telling you select a work, say directory for as a workspace. What is this? So the thing is that whenever you have to work with Eclipse, you need to store your code somewhere, right? On a location where you would be able to access it later on as well. So how would you be able to do that? That is easy. Choose a directory where you have to keep these things. For example, I can choose this documents folder. Here, I'll create a new directory. So a new directory and a folder name is batches, right? This is done. So inside batches, what we want is we want a folder name where we would be keeping all the files, right? All our project files. So I'll create a new folder here, Control Shift N. Shortcut is not working right now. So folder name, what will be the folder name? The folder name here is say Selenium September 2020, right? So here Selenium September 2020. This is the folder name. Open this folder copy this path after clicking here, Control C, and here provide this particular path, right? The moment you click on launch, you would see a folder got created .metadata, which will be containing the information regarding this particular workspace, right? Now here, Eclipse will take a little bit time to start. It usually takes. There are few versions that take lesser time. There are few versions that take a lot of time. So it depends on machine to machine as well. Eclipse has started. So this is how Eclipse looks. Click on this close button. We don't want to see this page. Here, there are few things. You can close this task list. This is not needed by us. Click on this, close this outline as well. This is also not required. Now here, they are asking for donation. Let us just close this. So on the screen, what all things are here? On the left section, there is a package explorer. All the projects and their files would be shown in the form of a tree here. All the names here, right? And whenever you have the code in this bigger section, you will be able to see the code. Next thing, the problems, Java doc and declaration. This is the part where you will be able to see the output of the code, right? And if you have any problems on your code, then you will be able to see those here, right? Now this is done. Eclipse is installed. JDK is installed. Now let us just create a first Java project. Click on this create a Java project and provide a name here, right? So I'll just name this as Selenium Basics, right? So a spelling mistake here, right? Selenium Basics. So if I click on finish, you can see that a project showed up here. If we get to that particular folder, you will see that Selenium Basics folder has been created here as well. This has few folders and files already created. .project. This is the information about the project. .class path. It contains the information about the Java files and their executables. It contains this settings folder contains the information about the settings, right? Why dot? Now, in the Linux world, dot means that the file is hidden, right? It doesn't work the same way in Windows, but still Java is something which was basically made for, say, Linux thing, right? So that is why all the things work according to Linux. So dot means the folder is supposed to be hidden. Now this means that we are left with two folders, src folder and a bin folder. So what is this? So these are the two folders which will be required by us. Source folder is the folder where we would be keeping all our code, right? And bin folder is the folder that we will not be dealing with directly, but whatever code we have in source folder would get its binary generated in bin folder. Bin stands for binaries. Source src stands for source, right? Now here, coming back to Eclipse, let us just try creating a file. Right click, new, say class, right? Before starting off with class, let us just learn about package. What is a package? Package is something that acts as a folder, right? And it allows us to, say, organize our code in a more clear manner, right? I will be coming to this thing again with a lot of examples, right? Right now, the only thing that it is a folder that allows us to organize our code, right? You can keep similar type of code inside packages. So here I'll create a package named as day one, right? Now, if you see something, I provided a space, it is not accepted here. So I just need to go like this, right? Package name is created. You can see that this package name has been created. If we go back, see, in source folder, we have this day one folder, but in the basic binaries folder as well, we have the same folder created as well. So every time we work on source folder, a corresponding file, a related file would be created in the binaries folder as well. Coming back to Eclipse, now we will create our first Java file. Right click, new, say class. Now we have to provide the class name. So say introduction, right? So the class name would be introduction.java. Click on finish. In introduction.java, you would find two things. First thing is the package name that you have to specify explicitly whenever you have your code inside a package. In case if it is directly inside source folder, then the package name would be bracket smalls default and bracket close. That we can't change, right? And in that case, there would be no package name specified here. Now, if you notice something, introduction.java has a say some information inside. What is that information? Public class introduction, the same name, the spelling is same, the casing is completely same, and this has to be same only. You cannot change it, right? Now here, let us just save this file. This file has been created. If we go back to the source folder and get inside day one folder, you will get to see something. Introduction.java has been created. If I edit it, you can see that the same contents are shown here as well, but not in a decorated way. You can see the same contents here as well. These are a bit decorated. So you can work with these. Now, let us just close this file. Come back to this folder, source folder. Now let's go to this binaries folder. So the same folder day one is created here as well, and there is a file named as introduction.class. The extension got changed. Let us just try editing it. First of all, we will not be able to edit it directly. So let us just try more apps, and I'll choose Notepad right now. And you can see something. There is some information specified, but it is not properly readable by us. So this is the binary that has to be executed. And the thing is that Java is able to understand this thing, right? Java works with this thing, this file. If you provide this file to a person using Macintosh, he will also be able to execute this file. If you provide this file to a Linux user, say Ubuntu, KDE Neon, Fedora, Red Hat, OpenSUSE, any operating system in Linux, this will work there as well. So you can run these binary files if you have the JDK installed, right? Now here, this is done. This means that we have to work on Java files, and that is why Eclipse shows up source files only. It does not show up any binary files. It simply shows up the, say, source files to us. Now, whenever you have a class, to execute it by default, you need to specify a method inside it. Method, or you can call it a function. So what is the default function? To execute, the default function is main, right? So main is the function, but is there any specific format for that? Yes, there is a specific format. From where you'll get to know that format, right? It is simple. Eclipse is very smart. You type something, you don't know the next thing, hit control space, right? It suggests you something that you may need. For example, I need the main method, right? Hit enter. It'll write this thing for you. Public static void main string array args, right? So this is the default method in case of Java that has to be executed. In the same way, there is a default method in any programming language. Say it's Python, or say it's C++, C sharp, C, any language, you name any language, there should be a relevant method that allows you to execute the code by default, right? Now, what all things we can do with Java, right? So there are a few things that we can do, and those things are, say we can print out something, say system.out.println, but I did not write it completely. What did I do? Let us just see that again. I just typed SYSO, then hit control space. It suggested me that I want to print something, and it simply created a method for me, system.out.println, with the help of which I would be able to print things. For example, I can print, hello, this is Abhishek, right? So here, this is done. Now I have done something here. Now how to run this code and see the output? It is easy. Click on this particular button. which says run introduction.java. The moment you click on run, it will ask you to save the file. Choose this option, always save resources before launching. Click on OK. You would see the code is executed. On the bottom section, you would see the output as well. It is printing, hello, this is Abhishek. This is what we expected as well, because this is what we had printed as well. Now we can print out more lines as well. That is not a big deal. System.out.println. And here we'd like to print something else. Say we are learning Selenium, right? So we can print this as well. Now, what it will do, whether it will be printing this thing in the next line or on the same line. Let us just see that. Now there is a shortcut for running the code as well. That is Control F11. And if you see something, we are getting to see output. This means that the code has executed successfully and it has printed the data in the next line. So what is happening here? The method we are calling out as println, what it does is it prints the data, whatever data is specified inside, and then moves the cursor to the next line. So if we notice something, the cursor after we are learning Selenium moved to the next line. Right, the cursor is here. That is why the data is getting printed in the next line. What if I modify this println function? What if I keep it as print only? Would it work? Let us just see that. So Control F11, you can see that, hello, this is Abhishek. We are learning Selenium. Everything is being printed in the same line. As the second line, the line number 7 is system.out.println. So the cursor is moving to the next line after the execution of this, right? So what system.out.println does, it prints out the data, right? And it moves the cursor to the next line. What system.out.print does, it prints out the data and keeps the cursor in the same line, right? Just give me a second, guys. Okay, so this was very basic. Now about, say, specifying comments. Comments are easy to use here. To specify a comment, simply provide // and then type anything. Say, hello, how are you? It doesn't matter whatever we have specified here. It will not be executed. Control F11 and you'll see something. It has no effect here. Then what is the benefit of comments? These allow us to provide information about the part of code where you're working on. It helps the other person who's reading the code to know about the code, whatever you have done here. You can simply mention the things that you have done and they will be able to work with it properly, right? So this is a single line comment. In the same way, we have multiple line comments as well. Suppose you would want to comment out the code, a part of code, /* right? The multi-line comment will start and the point where you want to stop it, */, right? What is /? The button beside shift key. What is \? The button nearby backspace key. It can be on the same line or on the lower line, right? So /, right? Now the code is commented out. If I run it, you would see that there is no output. Nothing is here actually because nothing got executed logically, right? So we need to manage our code comments in a way the code works as expected, right? Now here, this was about the code comments. Next thing, working with variables, right? Working with variables is very easy. Say we can have integer type variables. I is in smalls here. Notice this thing. We can have a variable named as A. It can have any value, say 10. Make sure that you're specifying semicolon in the ending. You can have another variable int B. It can have the value 7. Again, specify a semicolon in the ending. You can do any operations on these as well. Say int c equals to a multiplied by b. Done. We can print out any of the variables. So system.out.println, and we can print out the variable c. Control F11, and you can see that 70 is getting printed. 10 multiplied by 7 is 70, right? So this is what we are able to do. This is how we use variables, integer type variables. Now, the next type of variable is string type. Now, string type variable needs to be having the data type specified with S in capitals, the variable name, right? Say X equals to, say, Abhi. I need to specify my data inside double quotes. Then only we would be able to work with it. Otherwise, it will not understand the data. Remember this thing. Now you can print the data in the same way, system.out.println, and you can say use the variable name, say X, right? Control F11. The code will execute and you can see that Abhi is getting printed. The data is coming from variable, right? Now here you can do concatenation of data as well, right? Now here notice this thing. I will be doing something. Say I want to print data after joining X and A. So how would I be able to do that? System.out.println X plus A, right? Simply done. Control F11, you'll get to see the output, and the output is Abhi 10, right? But what if I do something B plus A? What would happen? Control F11. You'll notice something. Instead of printing 7 and 10, it printed, say, 17. But how? So whenever you have the data of type string in the system.out.println, it will, or anywhere where you're working with integers, it will concatenate the information. But if you have the same data type information only in case of integers, right? If you have two variables which are integers, the value would be added up. If there are two variables with the data type double, float, long, the value would be doubled up. But here, in case if you have any string type variable, the value will be concatenated. It will not add up or subtract or any mathematical method, arithmetic operation. No arithmetic operation will happen in case you have the data type, this string, right? Now here, this part is done. This was the very basic about say Java. Now, what other things are left? Let us just go back to the syllabus first. So here, this is our syllabus, and we are done with, say, basics of Java, right? There are few other things. I'm just considering that you guys know about if conditions, for loops, right? We will be working with those regularly, right? These conditions and loops are okay. They are very easy to use. Now coming back to Selenium, right? To work with Selenium, you need to have something that is a Selenium jar. Selenium is just a library that is on top of Java that allows us to do things. How would you be able to do that? It is simple. For Java, right? You can see something. There are links, there is download, and there is alpha download. We will be downloading this particular file that is 3.141.59, which is stable. And apart from this, we will also be downloading this alpha file. Why am I downloading both of these files? Not anything specifically. The thing is that 3.141.59, it came 2 years back and it is very stable, right? It is super stable right now. The version 4, it is the newer version, but it is still under development. But we will be basically working with Selenium version 4. And whenever we'll be facing issues, we'll be simply hopping back to this Selenium version 3. Now, if you notice something, if you open this folder, you'll get to see few files. right? Client combined sources.jar, client combined jar, and in the libs folder, there are also few files, right? Now, this was about 3.141.59. Let's go to version 4. There are a lot of files and you have to work with all these files, right? Now, to avoid any kind of hassles, right? We will not be working with these two files. Let us just delete these two files. We don't need them, right? Then what we would be doing actually, and where these are downloaded. Okay, I'll look into that thing later, right? Then what we have to do, scroll up as you're working with Selenium Java. There is a file that is provided to you by default. That is grid file. This is just a standalone file. This is a single file that contains everything related to Selenium. So whatever you need to work with Selenium, all the libraries are already added inside these files. Selenium version 4 alpha and Selenium version 3 stable, right? So we will be downloading both of these files. Just a second. Let me just cross check my downloads folder. Yeah, so this is the wrong directory actually. This is the right directory, right? And here we will be downloading these two files. So both of these, because we want to work with both of these files, any file which is needed by us, we will be using that particular file, right? Here, these are downloaded. The thing is, you have to work with only one at a time. How? Now working with this jar file is easy. Go back to Selenium Eclipse, right click on the project, go to properties. In the properties, you will get to find a line named Java build path. Go there and go to a tab named libraries. Here in libraries tab, click on add external jars and you can go to the directory where you have downloaded these files. You can see that both of these files are here. As I want to go stable, I can go with this particular file. As we want to learn new things, so I'm going with Selenium version 4 alpha 6. If we face any kind of issue, we will simply hop back to the older version. Now, how would we be able to do that? Highlight this particular file, click on remove, and you're done, right? Let us just add this file again. So this is Selenium server 4 alpha 6. Click on open and you're done. Now, by clicking cancel, it will not save. You need to apply and close. This is done. How to get to that page again? Let me show you. Right click on the project, go to properties, and here go to Java build path, then libraries tab, then add external jars. Do not choose add jars, right? There is a button just above that. Do not choose this button. The button that you have to choose is add external jars, and you can select the file that you have to work with. Now, as you have added this file, you would notice some change in your project structure now. What is the change? A referenced libraries would show up. Now, this is the library that you're using, Selenium Server 4, right? And you can see that there are few folders listed. What are these folders? These are the packages, right? The packages that I was talking about earlier, the folders, right? These contain the data related to the item you need, right? For example, here we have this org dot say async somewhere over here, org.openkey.selenium, right? Now here in org.openkey.selenium, we have to work with Selenium Chrome, right? We have to work with Google Chrome. So there are few files related to Chrome here. What is this org.openkey.selenium.chrome? So to differentiate a packages to specify a sub package, we name it like this: package name dot sub package name, right? So this is how it works here. Now, if you notice something, there are class files only. There are no Java files because these are the compiled files. These are the files that we provide to the client, right? Whenever they need it, because we don't usually deal with source. We have to get our work done. We simply need the class files, right? So all the binaries, right? Remember something, we dealt with binary files, right? All these binaries are packed up in a file, right? a archive file, and that archive file is known as jar, Java Archived Resource, right? So this is the full form of jar, and it is simply the collection of all the binary folders, right? All the files inside binary folder actually, right? The structure is preserved and everything is preserved here for the class files, right? Not the Java files, dot class files. Now here, this is how we say provide these files to someone else. Now coming back to the say syllabus, what we have done, we are done with the introduction. There are few more course FAQs that we would be covering right now. History about Selenium and its future. Selenium will be used. We will be working with Selenium a lot and a lot of other things as well. Importance of Java, Java doc for Selenium, introduction to Java, right? Installation of Jdk, Eclipse, and first Java program, basics of Java, concept of class file, concept of jar file. All these things are done, right? Configuration and downloading of Selenium jars is also done. Now, coming back to FAQs, there are few FAQs that may have got skipped. So let us just go to the FAQs folder. Now, every one of you might be having few queries. Say, will I get access to the videos? Yes, you will be getting access to the videos. All these videos are getting recorded, right? The current video is getting recorded. The current session is getting recorded. For the free trial lectures, the links will be sent to you directly via email. And once the free trial lectures are over, you will find the videos in your account, right? You can simply log into your account and you can find the videos there. You don't have to look up for the email, right? Next thing, say this is one of the main things. Everyone is here for working on a project or clearing an interview. See, to start working with Selenium, it just takes 5 to 10 days, not more than that. But is it enough? To compete with people, those who are having more than 1 or 2 years of experience, is it enough? No. You need to devote at least 6 to 8 weeks in that, right? What is the duration of the course? It depends. Usually it is between 25 to 35 hours and it usually takes 30 hours. Okay. Now, how we have divided our course, right? This is one of the main things. So course is completely divided into two parts. First part is the basics, right? And then framework. The second one is framework. In basics, we will be learning the major things. Then in framework, we will be learning how to make use of all those things that we have learned earlier and make them work in a harmony. See, building a framework is easy, right? But the thing is that building up a framework which is future proof, building up a framework which is flexible, that is not easy. So we will be learning how we can build up a framework which is flexible, which is future proof, and you can put in any project inside it, you can work with it, right? You can easily work with that. So we will be building up the framework from the scratch after we are done with the basics. So all the concepts that we have learned in the first half would be discussed again, but in a different way, that how would we be able to use them, right? Could you provide some kind of a live project? See, we will be working on a live project actually. So we will be building this framework from the scratch so that you get to learn the things. See, we can say we can learn Selenium directly. You can go through Selenium website and you can learn things with the Java docs, right? That is easy. But that is not the only thing that we have to do actually. We have to build up a complete ecosystem where all the things will be done in a proper way, right? Now, in case if you want, if you guys want the syllabus, I have the link. I can provide you the link, and the link is shared in the chat. You can go through with this file. You may find a little bit here, things here and there, and you can tally those things with the syllabus currently I have, right? Now, in the next lecture, what all things we are going to learn, right? We will be learning about the concepts of object-oriented programming. we will be learning about interfaces, and then we will be completely starting off with, say, Selenium, right? So how does Selenium work actually? Let us just have a quick idea here. So in my Eclipse, we will be going back. Now here, with the help of a one command, right? We will be able to open up the browser, right? So this is how Selenium works, and how, let us just see that. A very simple command, say, I'll just create a new file here, new class. And here, what will be the file name? Say Selenium introduction, right? And click on finish. So again, we need a main method here. So main control space, this is done. Now to work with the browser, we will be typing in a command, new Chrome, and see, I've not typed completely. I'll wait for the suggestions. So the suggestion I've got is Chrome driver. So for working with Google Chrome, I need to run this command, new Chrome driver, and it will open the browser. If I run this command, what would happen? See, Selenium cannot interact with the browser directly, even if it is installed on my system. To work with this, we need to have an intermediary file that would allow us to communicate, that would allow the, say, code to communicate with the browser, right? So what is that file and how would we be able to get that file? That is simple. For Google Chrome or any other browser that you want to work with, simply go to Selenium dev/downloads, scroll down, keep on scrolling down until you see this option, browsers. These are the browsers supported by Selenium: Firefox, Internet Explorer, Safari, Opera, Chrome, Edge. Internet Explorer is obsolete now, so we won't be working with the Internet Explorer now. This will be phased out very soon. Maybe in the coming versions of Windows 10, it will not be there, right? But in case if you want to work with it, I will be telling you, but in the, say, in the remaining lectures, we will not be working with this because everything is same. So we will be mainly working with Firefox and say Google Chrome, but the code will work on any of the browsers, any browser you choose, right? Everything is same. For example, say to deal with Google Chrome, you need to go through this documentation, and this is the documentation provided by the Google Chrome itself. Notice the page sites.google.com, chromium.org, Chrome driver, right? So Chrome driver is provided by Google people itself, right? This enables the interaction of the browser to the code. So which version you have to download, which file you have to download, don't worry, click on this triple dot, go to help and click on about Google. Here you will find the version mentioned here. I'm using 85.04183. So try to match up the version number. No need to worry if it is not completely matching. 85.04183. So it is completely matching, right? So here, go back to the folder and simply download it. So there are few files. Now, which file you have to download? Chrome is available on three say operating systems: Linux, Mac, and Windows. Windows 32-bit is showing up. There is no 64-bit. Then what you have to do? Download the 32-bit file, right? Here, once you have downloaded this zip file, you need to extract it. So extract this file. It is a zip file, so Windows will be able to open it directly. Mac also opens it directly, and Linux also opens it directly. Copy this file, and here where we have to extract it. So choose a directory, right? For example, I'll choose this directory here, and I'll create a new directory here named as cancel new folder named as essentials. So I'll keep all the essential files here. In essentials folder, we will create a new directory, which we will be working with. That is web driver, right? And paste that file here. So it is not showing up. Let us just go to this, extract this file. I can drag and drop as well. It has been extracted. Now to work with this file, right? How would we be able to work with it? Go back to the code, go back to Eclipse, and it is showing you an exception. What exception? Illegal state exception. Right now, the thing is they are just asking us to add a system property which allows us to open the browsers, right? What you have to do in this case is go to this folder, WebDriver folder, wherever you have created it, copy this folder name, folder path actually, not the name, and open environment variables again. Remember you edited this environment variables. Simply open this environment variables, go to path and add this new variable in the ending. If you're having older version of Windows, right? Go to the end, specify a semicolon and paste this path, right? And click on OK and you're done. So here I'm also done. Now the thing is I have made a change. Will it work for me? No. If you notice something, it will not work. What I have to do in this case, restart Eclipse, right? Close Eclipse, always exit without prompt, and you can choose whether you don't want to. I'm not choosing this option. Eclipse is closed. Open Eclipse again. Eclipse was stored here in C drive, program files, Eclipse, Java latest released, this one, and then this particular file. This is opening up again. And here choose that launch folder. Do not choose this option. Use this as the default and do not ask again. Do not choose this option. Why? The reason is that in any case, if Eclipse crashes, you will not be able to work with Eclipse again, right? In that case, sometimes you don't even get to know what is the error. So at least if you are able to say, see this folder, you can change this folder and you can save your workspace. Okay, coming back to this, now Eclipse is restarted. We can try running the code now. Control F11. This time the code will execute, right? In case if it doesn't execute and if it shows you the same error, you can restart your machine. Restarting is not mandatory. Restarting Eclipse is mandatory. Here you can see browser has opened up, right? So this is how you can open a browser. Right now I have Chrome installed. And we will be installing, say, more browsers as well. According to our need, we will be dealing with other browsers as well, right? This was for today's lecture. If you have any queries, you can feel free to ask. Any queries, guys?